They told me it was a small family dinner. Then I walked into a full-on baby shower for Emily. When I showed up to what was supposed to be a small family dinner, I walked into a crowd of around 80 people and saw a banner that read, "Welcome, baby Natalie." My mom let out this cheerful laugh and casually said, "We used your bonus for a little family joy." I didn't say much, just gave a quiet, "Noted." Later that night, I logged in, locked down all the accounts, reversed 14 transactions, and pulled the entire $9,800 bonus out. By the next morning, something about the house looked different. My mom was practically glowing like she'd just won an Oscar. Before continuing the story, I'd like to ask you to subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss new and interesting stories, and to like and share this video with your friends. She spread her arms wide and called out, loud enough for the folks near the shrimp tray to hear, "We used your bonus for family joy." Like it was some kind of punchline. I just stood there in the doorway, completely thrown off. I hadn't told them the actual details about the bonus. Sure, I mentioned it had been a good quarter at work, but never gave a number. Never said anything solid. Just hinted. "Noted," I said again. That was all. Nobody picked up on how flat my voice was. They were too wrapped up in their pastel outfits and celebration mode. Natalie looked like some kind of lace-covered goddess, basking in the spotlight. My sister, yeah, the same one who skipped paying me back for rent last year. The one who called me an emotionless calculator over Christmas because I didn't cry during some sappy Hallmark movie. That same night, after the last guest had taken their party favor and the balloon arch drooped into a sad mess, I sat down and logged back in. No yelling, no tears, just quiet action. I froze every joint account we shared, reversed those same 14 transactions, and withdrew the $9,800 from the family savings account I was dumb enough to help set up last year. It had my name on it too, so technically, not theft. Just correcting the record. I wasn't trying to hurt anyone. I just needed to protect whatever was left of my peace of mind. Not out of revenge, but out of clarity. A reset. By sunrise, the energy in the house had shifted. Not just emotionally, either. Garbage bags stacked by the door like a pile of broken promises. But it wasn't just that. There was a sticky note stuck to the door of my old bedroom. My mom's familiar cursive read, "Please don't overreact. We did it for Natalie. She's family. She needs this." I left the note where it was, grabbed my laptop, sat on the edge of the guest bed, and opened up a folder I swore I'd never touch again. It was labeled Receipts. And if they wanted to throw around the phrase family joy, they were about to find out what it actually cost. I didn't talk to any of them for 5 straight days after that little dinner. Just silence. No texts, no calls. Just me and a massive Google sheet where I tracked every cent I'd given them since 2021. Rent help, $6,300. Medical bills, $2,480. Natalie's emergency car repair, $1,900. Groceries? A steady $125 a month. Streaming subscriptions on my card. My mom's Wine of the Month Club? Still being billed. I was basically an ATM with a Wi-Fi password. When my sister finally called, I ignored it. Then my mom left a voicemail. "Honey, we know you're upset, but you're overreacting. It was just a dinner. Natalie's having a baby. She needs support. We thought you'd be happy." I played that voicemail 5 times. Not once did she say thank you. Not once did she say sorry. That's when I decided I needed to go see them. Not because I missed them, because I had questions. When I pulled into the driveway, Natalie's new SUV was right out front. Same one she claimed she couldn't afford a down payment for 2 months back. I recognized the dealership sticker. I was the one who took her there. I even co-signed for it. She told me it was for job interviews. She wasn't job hunting. She was throwing pastel brunches for her followers, complete with macarons and ridiculously overpriced centerpieces. I saw the reels. I saw the hashtags. I walked in without knocking. "Hey," Natalie chirped, sitting at the dining table, surrounded by boxes from Baby Blue. "Look who finally decided to show up." My dad glanced up from the kitchen island. "Don't be dramatic. Your sister's pregnant, right?" I said. "So that makes it okay that you spent my bonus on a fake baby shower for 80 people? He rolled his eyes. "It's called giving back to the family. You should try it sometime." I looked right at him. "I gave you $9,800. You want a parade for that?" He just snapped back. Then my mom jumped in. "We thought it'd be good for everyone. Joy brings blessings. Joy brings overdraft fees." I shot back. That's when Natalie stood up with this smug little smile, like the villain in a Netflix drama. "You always make it about you. Just admit it. You hate when other people are happy." And that was the final straw. The exact second I stopped hoping they'd ever change. I left again that night. Pulled out an old hard drive I'd been meaning to sort through for months. It was a backup drive from before I moved out. I wasn't even sure what was on it. Turns out Natalie had used it once. Backed up her whole laptop and forgot to delete it. I found everything. Screenshots of our private messages, edited to make me look threatening. Voicemails she'd pieced together from different calls to sound like I was issuing threats. There was even a folder titled Insurance Claims, full of fake receipts and notes with my name listed as a witness. Another folder? Called Bonuses. Inside was a photo of a whiteboard with a note that said, "If we say he gifted it, It's legally clean. I printed it all out. And I created my own folder, Family Ledger. The next morning, I got a text from my dad. Natalie said you were looking through old files. Let it go. Don't do something you'll regret. I replied, too late. You should have thought of that before the shrimp tower. And then things got even uglier. I checked my credit report, 3 brand new inquiries from banks in their city. My mom had tried to open a credit card using my name. She had my social security number. I knew the handwriting the second I saw the scanned credit application. It was my mom's attempt at forging my signature, sloppy and barely passable. I didn't wait long. Dropped everything into the family group chat. Screenshots. Timestamps. Even the file path from the backup. My message was short and simple. You have 48 hours to explain. After that, I pressed send. My aunt left the group chat within minutes. Natalie responded with, "This is harassment." My dad tossed in a thumbs up emoji. And my mom? She replied with, "You were tearing this family apart." 47 hours later, I got a call from my bank. They'd flagged a $4,500 wire attempt to something called the Brooks Family Trust. Never heard of it. The bank rep asked, "Do you know an N? Brooks?" "Yeah," I said. "My sister." "Did you authorize this transfer?" "Nope." "Would you like to file a fraud report?" "Yes, I would." 10 minutes later, Natalie emailed me. Subject: This is not what Mom wanted. No greeting. No name. No signature. I didn't reply. By Friday, it all started coming apart at the seams. Their friends began reaching out. My uncle called. A cousin I hadn't heard from in over a decade sent a guilt-laced text. Someone even messaged me on LinkedIn with, "Hope all is well. Heard some strange things." Strange things? Like the time my own family hijacked my bonus to throw a fake baby gala for a manipulative narcissist? Or the part where they forged documents in my name to commit wire fraud? Yeah, I'd call that strange too. But I wasn't done. That weekend, I met with a family lawyer. Walked into her office with a folder full of color-coded receipts. Labeled everything financial, digital, emotional. I showed her the backups, the forgeries, the screenshots, the voice memos. She skimmed through the first few pages, then looked up and said one word: leverage. Then she asked the most important question: "What do you want?" I smiled. And ending with fireworks. Friday morning, my dad texted me. No greeting. No emojis. Just, let's talk. Man to man. Workshop. 7 p.m. The workshop wasn't a metaphor. It was the actual rusted-out shed behind their house. Same cracked light bulb, same dented metal toolbox, same stupid, "work hard or shut up" sign hanging crooked over the window. I didn't respond. I just showed up. He was already there, posted up on a folding chair with a beer in one hand and a cigarette tucked behind his ear. Smiled like we were about to catch a football game. "So," he said, "you finally here to drop the drama?" "No," I said. "I'm here to see if you still have the nerve to speak to me." He laughed and took a sip. "Oh, come on. Don't start. Look, Natalie's pregnant. You want her having a kid in the middle of a scandal." I didn't say a word. He took the silence as permission to ramble. "You and me, we're men. We handle things. Quiet. No banks. No screenshots. No lawyers. Just men fixing things the way we used to. Keep the outsiders out." Then he got to the point. "We clean this up. You pull back the fraud claim, and maybe, we get back to normal. That work for you?" I reached into my bag and pulled out my tablet. Placed it on the dusty workbench and hit play. He won't even notice. He's soft, predictable. Give him a guilt trip, and he'll hand over the whole thing. It was his voice. From a call with my mom. I'd edited out the silence. Left only the poison. His eyes locked on the screen, jaw tight. "That's out of context," he muttered. "Sure," I said. "Here's the rest." I swiped again. Pulled up a scanned loan application with his handwriting. His forged signature. A browser log showing the IP address, the session history, and timestamps that matched the document creation time. Then I opened an Instagram story. Natalie, holding a brand new iPad. Caption: "Bought it with my silent investor's guilt bonus." He set his beer down. "You don't get it," he said softly. "Natalie's always needed help. You've got the job, the tech stuff, the brain. You're strong. So that makes it okay to rob me?" I said, flat. He didn't answer. I reached back into my bag and tossed a manila envelope onto the table. Copy of the fraud report. The original's already with the investigator. Then I added, "Oh, and one more thing." The door creaked behind us. Tyler stepped in. Natalie's ex. The same one she said was abusive, dangerous, emotionally toxic. I used to believe her. "Hey, Ryan," Tyler said calmly. "Thought you might want to hear a few things." He carried a folder and opened it up. Pages and pages of proof. Emails. Screenshots. Audio clips. He spoke slowly and clearly about the fake pregnancy scare Natalie used to control him, about the threats she sent when he tried to leave, about the documents she drafted with step-by-step plans to ruin his life. "She told me your son was weak," Tyler said, looking at my dad. "Turns out, he's the only one in this whole family with a spine." Then he played one of the recordings. Natalie's voice. "He doesn't know I used his name for the paperwork. He'll never figure it out. He trusts me. There was no filter. No shame. My dad backed into the wall, pale, shaking. I didn't know, he whispered. No, I said. You chose not to know. I stepped closer, looked him in the eyes. You lost me. Not this week. Not this month. For good. And then I walked out. As I stepped into the night air, I heard Tyler's voice behind me, sharp, but calm. Oh, and Ryan? If any of you come after me again, I go public. By morning, the house looked different. A notice had been stapled to the front door in bold orange. Sale of shared interest, pending legal resolution. It wasn't handwritten. It wasn't subtle. By noon, Natalie had called me 23 times. My mom sent 3 crying voice notes. My dad sent 1 text. You're making a mistake you can't walk back from. I didn't respond. Instead, I uploaded a folder. Title, Family Transparency Initiative. No hashtags. No drama. Just facts. Inside, PDFs, screenshots, audio files, scans of forged loan documents, a voice memo of Natalie bragging about manipulating me, photos of the $9,800 baby shower, a detailed timeline of every transaction, every lie, and every public humiliation they dumped on me like it was my job to carry their shame. And then there was the letter from the county, confirming what I'd kept in my back pocket the whole time. I had sold my 50% share of the house to a legal firm. They had no clue I still had partial ownership. That was my ace. The card I held closest. They thought I was bluffing. They forgot who raised me. The fallout kicked off fast. Within hours, a neighbor snapped a photo of the orange notice and posted it to Facebook with the caption, Brooks' house in trouble. Another neighbor chimed in with a comment, about time someone stood up to those people. That same afternoon, I got an email from a small local news blog. They'd seen the documents. They wanted a quote. I gave them 1 sentence. Sometimes you have to burn the legacy to escape the inheritance. They made it the headline. That night, my mom went full scorched earth on Facebook. 7 paragraphs of melodrama. She called me ungrateful, accused me of betraying the family. Said, certain people just don't understand how hard it is to be a parent. She even attached an old photo of me from 2009, braces, acne, bad haircut. The caption read, I raised this boy, and this is how he thanks me. The post got 14 likes. All from relatives I haven't seen since Thanksgiving 2012. Monica commented, sending prayers. Stay strong. I didn't respond. But I did open LinkedIn and remove every family member from my connections. I didn't want any of them tied to my name. 3 days later, Natalie uploaded a video. She was pale, eyes glistening with what looked like perfectly placed tears. Soft piano music in the background, dramatic as hell. She said, sometimes people break you and call it justice. My brother used to be my best friend. I don't even know who he is anymore. The internet didn't buy it. One commenter wrote, isn't this the chick who faked DMs and forged loan docs? Another, she's why people say women lie. Someone even dug up the leaked audio clip of her voice and matched it to the baby bump photos from the party. The internet did what it always does. It chewed up the lies, spit out the truth, and turned manipulators into memes. This time, they got it right. A week later, Tyler texted me. She messaged me. Says she's pregnant again. Probably fake. I blocked her. Then he added, you did the right thing, man. I wish I had your spine. I didn't feel like I'd won. I just felt clear. And there's a big difference. My dad was the last to break the silence. Typical. A letter showed up at my apartment. No return address. Just typed text. You think you've won? You haven't. Men like you always come back when the silence gets too loud. You'll crawl back. They always crawl back. He signed it. The man who made you. I laughed when I read that. He didn't make me. He tried to break me. What made me was the silence. The pretending. The years of swallowing my voice while they bled me dry and called it love. He didn't make me. He taught me exactly what not to become. The law firm that now owned my half of the house sent a formal demand letter. Buy out the interest or vacate within 90 days. Turns out, shared ownership with a silent partner is inconvenient. I forwarded the notice to Natalie with a short message. You threw a $10,000 party. Let's see how you handle property taxes. She replied with a single emoji. I didn't block her. Didn't care enough to. That weekend, I posted one final update. Just a photo. No caption. A shot of the new sign outside my apartment building. The one I had installed downstairs for my new studio office. Burn Ledger. Personal strategy and digital forensics. That's what I called it. Because if they, or anyone like them, ever came for me again, I'd be ready. And if someone out there ever finds themselves in my shoes, I'll show them exactly how to fight back. The check cleared on a Thursday. $11,742.28. Direct deposit. Proceeds from the liquidation of the Brooks family home. It wasn't a gift. It was restitution. And it was mine. It took months. Depositions. Court filings. A full forensic audit. Justice isn't always loud, but it is thorough. The judge took less than 5 minutes to deliver the verdict. The defendant knowingly forged financial documents using the plaintiff's identity for personal financial gain. Full repayment is ordered, plus penalties and court costs. My father didn't even bother to show. He sent a note through his lawyer. This is a witch hunt. I won't play along. Natalie sat in the corner like a failed actress after a bad read. Head down, lips tight, no tears, just silence. My mother sat there like she was waiting for someone, anyone, to step in and stop it. But no one did. By the next morning, the house had a for sale sign out front. A week later, it had new owners. They tore up the flower beds, ripped out the old mailbox, painted the shutters black. It didn't look like a family home anymore. It looked like a purge. That afternoon, my lawyer called. The money's been transferred, she said. You'll get the confirmation shortly. Legally, they're not allowed to reach out to me anymore. If they do, my lawyer said, call me first. I thanked her. She paused and said, I've handled a lot of cases like this, but never one where the sun kept it this clean. I didn't respond. There was nothing left to scrub. That evening, I sat on the floor of my new office. Hardwood. Quiet. Bare. Uncluttered, just the way I liked it. The company sign had shown up earlier that day. I unpacked it slow, peeling back the cardboard like it was something sacred. Burn ledger, bold across the top. Underneath, strategic recovery and risk defense. Never again means never again. I wasn't looking for revenge anymore. I was choosing peace. I hung the sign on the office door myself, drilled the anchors, drove the screws in. No help, because there never was. A week later, one last letter found its way to the old P.O. box. Handwritten, sloppy, torn envelope. You've made your point. We've lost the house. Natalie's suffering. Your mother's not well. If there's any part of you that still believes in family, pick up the phone. I slid the letter back into the envelope, sealed it with tape, and fed it through the shredder. That same day, I walked into a credit union and shut down the last joint account I had with any of them. The banker looked up and asked, Are you sure? This is permanent. I nodded. That's the point. She slid a folder across the desk. Final account closure paperwork. I signed it without hesitation, then handed her a note I'd already written. Please notify all associated card holders that this account is closed. All future charges will be declined. The next morning, Natalie tried to run a charge. $112.99 at some boutique baby store. It bounced. She tried again. It bounced harder. That's when she texted me. I'll pay you. I'll give it all back. Just stop this. I replied with a single line. $9,742.16. $1. The debt is yours. She never texted back. They never repaid the full amount. The court penalties covered the rest. But the money? That wasn't the win. The win was the silence. No more late-night emergencies. No more guilt in disguise. No more being the fire escape every time their lives caught flame. They tried to weaponize blood. But I'd already bled out the part of me that believed family was unconditional. That Friday, I changed my number. Only 3 people got the new one. The old number stayed active, still linked to the joint Netflix account my mom never remembered to delete. Let it sit. Let her stare at the screen when it says, this profile is no longer available. Let her wonder who I became. The last thing I did? I donated $2,000 from the settlement to a legal defense fund for adult victims of family-based financial abuse. I didn't post about it. Didn't tell anyone. Just clicked submit and walked away. Then I stepped out onto my balcony with a cup of black coffee. And for the first time in years, I just existed. No calculations. No damage control. No apologies to draft. Just breath. Some stories end with reunion. Mine ends with clarity. I'm not guilty for being used. But I would have been guilty for staying. They called it betrayal. I call it release. They saw war. I found peace. They said I'd crawl back. But I didn't. I cashed the check, changed the locks, and never looked over my shoulder again.